Okay, good afternoon to you, and let me thank you for joining me at this hour. Thank you for being with Born to Lead all the while, and thank you for also your kind words of encouragement. I've received words of encouragement from a whole lot of persons who seem quietly to be watching me and watching this organization run the things that we do, and persons who just sit at the background trying to show their support for the work that we do. Thank you so much. I got a huge encouragement this week from a friend, an old friend that I came across within the last 1 week, and it's been pleasant. It's been, so to speak, sweet to have reconnected with that old friend and to have had an encouragement from that old friend regarding the things that I'm doing. That for me is a huge plus, and I greatly appreciate it. In fact, I would like to more or less dedicate today's broadcast to that friend. Um, and I'll say thank you for your kind words and encouragement and for pushing me further in the things that I'm determined to do in this life. Today, I'll be talking about unleashing your potential. Okay, unleashing your potential. It is quite interesting for me. This is a quite interesting topic. It is a challenging topic also because every one of us has been built in with great potential. There are numerous potentials that are found in the inside of every one of us. There are over 7 billion people on planet Earth at the moment. We're running to 8 billion very soon. And none of those 8 billion persons alive today, or those who have lived in times past and those who are coming in the future, will ever come to this world without a potential. None. It doesn't matter your race, it doesn't matter your color, it doesn't matter what language you speak, it doesn't matter what your strengths and weaknesses may be. It wouldn't even matter what faith, what religion you belong to. I am certain, and I know this as a matter of fact, that every one of the 7.5, 7.8 billion persons in this world, every one of us has a huge potential. Every one of us has been so packed full with potential that if we decide to discover and unleash these potentials, the earth would be a much more better environment, a much more conducive and comfortable environment. Unfortunately, not many out of these 7 billion plus persons are determined to know why they are living, are determined to know the potential that are captured in the inside of them. All right? I've talked about football so much. I'm a lover of football. I enjoy watching football. I watched the Champions League match yesterday, two matches that were broadcast live. And I'm amazed at this man who should have been thinking of retirement at this time as far as football is concerned, Cristiano Ronaldo, having achieved virtually everything that there could be to achieve in the world except for winning the World Cup. Having won all sorts of personal laurels that could have come his way. In every team that he's played, he's challenged records upon records, he's broken records upon records. And incidentally, at the age of 35, 36, I suppose, he should have been thinking of retirement. But the guy keeps pushing harder and harder and harder and harder as far as football is concerned. And of course, even yesterday, he smashed the record of goal scoring for Juventus as a team in a season. And I just wonder how many records this man is willing to continually break on a daily basis. And basically, this is because he knows that is a bundle of potentials, and that unless he unleashes this potential, unless he unravels this potential, they just simply remain potential. They simply remain potentials with no viability, so to speak. And this is how so many of us live life. This is how so many of us run our lives on a daily basis. We are so packed full. In fact, science has proved that at death, nobody is able to use 10% or more of his the capacity of his brain. Okay? We die with abundant brain cells that are out there or in there in our head. We are unable to maximize fully or to full capacity our brain cells. Now, if that be it, how comes nobody has been, or how comes not many of us challenge ourselves to discover the potentials that we have been gifted with, to unravel the things that we have been born with? Many of us just live life on the pedestrian level, which is sad, which is sorrowful. When I drive through the streets of the Federal Capital Territory of Abuja, I see a lot of men and women dejected, standing on corners, waiting or begging for alms. All right? Healthy people, strong people, people with immense potentials, people that once, if they ever challenge themselves to unravel the things in the inside of them, so much would have happened for them. The world is crying and crying very, very hard right now because there are billions of people who are sitting without unleashing the things that God has packed in the inside of them. Like I said, and I will repeat myself, it doesn't matter your sex, it doesn't matter your race, it doesn't even matter your sexual disposition, it doesn't matter how dark or how fair you are, it doesn't matter your intellectual capacity does not matter. Okay? Regardless of who you have been packed full with potentials. And unless you take time to discover the things that are in the inside of you, I can tell you that you will die full of potentials. There are countries in this world, like the Democratic Republic of Congo, that holds so much diamond and gold that the entire world ought to be bowing at its feet before this nation, begging for gold, begging for diamonds. And yet, there are millions of people in that country that are dying of poverty. Why? Because the people out there have refused to discover and to unleash the potentials that are packed in the inside of them. I've continued to use Israel as an example, a nation of just about 8 million people, a nation that you could drive within from one end to the other border in 5 hours, a nation that is situated in the desert, a nation where rain falls only 1 or 2 hours in an entire year. Yet, because it has been able to take the challenge of discovering and unleashing the potentials in that country, that nation has been able to develop agriculture to its highest height. Meanwhile, there are so many countries around the world that enjoy rain for 6, 7, 8 months in a year and yet cannot feed themselves. They do not even know how to advance from one level of agriculture to the other. What a mess. What a tragedy. What a huge pain that we cause to ourselves, basically because we are refusing to unleash the potentials that you and I have been gifted with, the potentials that you and I have been so much blessed with. You heard me say potential, 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 and you are beginning to wonder, what is potential? Before I try to define what potential is, let me say there are so many things. Okay, I've heard people say Nigeria is a potential giant. Nigeria is a potential big economy in the world. Nigeria, look, My friends, I'm tired of hearing potential. I'm tired. And once you get tired of hearing potentials, it means that you want to discover and unleash the potentials that are packed anywhere in the world. Scratch any surface of the earth, any surface, and I tell you, just scratch any surface of the earth. If you give it some serious thought, something beneficial will be unraveled from that portion of the earth that you have scratched. That's how packed full the whole earth is as far as potentials are concerned. Unfortunately, a significant fraction of the world will die full of potential. I listened to this by Miles Monroe, and he says the richest place in the world is the grave. The grave. Why? He says because in the grave there are songs that should have ruled the world that have been unsung and died with the person who went with them. There are inventions, mighty, great, significant inventions that should have been unraveled or unleashed in the earth, but because of fear or some other factors, people with those potentials died with them, and they are in the grave lying with those huge potentials that they never attempted to use at any point in time. There are vehicles, there are means of transportation, there are means of improving agriculture that are buried in the inside of people that people have refused to release to the earth because of fear, because of laziness, because of unwillingness to dig deep and to discover the things that have been buried in the inside of them. I am a firm believer of the holy book called the Bible. And one thing that I read in the first chapter is that in 6 days God created the entire earth. By the seventh day he took a rest. Now, if it says that in 6 days God had created everything, and yet would you not yet see everything, what do you think that means? For me, it means that he created them and buried them in the inside of humans. Now it is an opportunity for humans to do what? To unravel the potentials, to unravel the gifts, to unravel the inventions that are packed in the inside of every one of us. Have you not come to a situation where you have been thinking about something and out of fear or laziness you refuse to do it, and then few years down the line you suddenly just see that invention you have been thinking of come to life, invented by someone else? What do you think has happened? What has happened is the fact that you refuse to take the initiative. You refuse to do the things that you have been born to do. And someone with similar mindset somewhere else took the challenge and brought forth what you should have brought forth, or what you should have been known for doing. And so every one of us who fails to unleash the potentials that are in the inside of him will die with them. No wonder the grave is said to be the richest place in the world. The grave, as quiet as the grave can be, it holds the greatest of all things that should have been, that were never, and yet became buried. It is sad. It will be sad if any one of us went back with the things that you have been given to unleash to us, or given to us to see. Your potential was not given for you, so you would return back to the grave with it. No. Every one of us has got a limited lifespan. No matter how long you live here on earth, at best 140 years on earth. So you and I have been given that period of time to do what? To unleash, to unravel, to release what is in the inside of us. And I plead with you, wherever you are, however you are listening to me, take up the challenge today to be willing to break forth and to unleash the potential that you and I have been given to unleash while we're here on earth. What are potential? Your potential is your dormant ability. Your dormant ability, your reserved power. In other words, you have certain abilities that you have kept dormant in the inside of you. You have certain powers that if you dare to rise up to the challenge to bring forth those powers, you will be, so many great things will occur and happen to you just by agreeing to unleash those things just by agreeing to use the reserved power in the inside of you, by agreeing to bring alive those dormant abilities that have been sleeping in the inside of you. Your potential is your untapped strength, it's your unused success, your hidden talent, your capped capability. What are the strengths that are in the inside of you? What are the abilities that you have buried in the inside of you? What are those potentials that you have refused to expose to the world? Everything you see in the world today came because somebody decided to maximize his potential. The things you see in the world today are happening because someone discovered some hidden talent in the inside of him, and that person decided to take the challenge to develop those talents so that the world can be a better place, so that the world can be better entertained, so that the world can enjoy and relax in the things that this person has discovered in the inside of him. Many years ago, some friends and I used to leave where we were residing on the Air Force Base to go to a nearby locality called Kao to rent bicycles. And when we rented these bicycles, we came back home with them, rode them for some hours, and then we returned them back. In fact, while we were riding the bicycles, we didn't want our parents to see because it would have been a crime to have gone to rent a bicycle. Where did you get the funds, the money to rent the bicycles from? Now, at that time, there were so many things we could do with the bicycle, but we were discouraged from riding this bicycle. So we had to hide to ride this bicycle. But eventually, okay, when we rode the bicycles and returned them, we relished the fact that we enjoyed ourselves and were willing to take the risk to go the next day to be willing to rent those bicycles again until anyone caught us. Okay? Until anyone caught us. But then, when we were enjoying these bicycles, we didn't know the number of things that could have been done with the bicycle. Now, today, there are so many things that are being done with the bicycle that you wonder. Sometimes you watch TV, you sit down and watch people play with BMX bicycles, and you wonder, how did they ever think of phantom this as coming from them? People jump from one skyscraper to using bicycles. People somersault, people do all sorts of displays in circuses, on the track, in the field, on mountains, on rocks. People climb rocks with bicycles. It is marveling. Why? Because some persons dare to check within them and to discover the potentials that are hidden deep in the inside of them. You and I still have so much that we can discover in the inside of us. Regardless of what you have achieved, there is so much in the inside of you that you can achieve. So much. Sadly, I hear people who are intrigued about the word retirement. Potentials do not have retirement dates. Yes, your body may grow old. Yes, your body may grow weak, but your mind never grows weak. Your heart never grows weak. Your ability to think and to come up with something innovative never grows weak. Even when your ability to think has been attacked by a disease, if you calm yourself down, and science has proved, if you calm yourself down, even for a moment, there are moments that you can think of positive things. Positive things. So again, hear me. I say your potential are what? They are your dormant abilities. Every one of us has them. Regardless of what you have achieved or attained, there are dormant abilities deep in the inside of you. Okay? Deep in the inside of you, there are dormant abilities. Abilities or potentials are reserved power. Regardless of how powerful you have been, regardless of what you have achieved in life, there are still powers in the inside of you that have been reserved. All you need to do is to dig deep and you can bring forth those powers and those abilities. Will Smith used to be a singer, a rapper. That's how I got to know Will Smith. Many years ago, he used to be a rapper. Okay? Fresh Prince. That was what he was called. And when he rapped, I thought, oh, this guy has fully activated his potential and there is nothing else he could ever do on earth. Okay? Until Will Smith moved away from rapping into movies. And today Will Smith is a household name in movies. Why do you think that has happened? It's because he discovered that beyond rapping, there is so much more in the inside of him that he could unleash. And I can tell you that if he looks even further deeper within him, there is even much more that he can establish. There are so many people who are preachers, they are singers, they are counselors, you can just name it, they are everywhere. Okay? Of course, they are not thinning out themselves, trying to achieve everything at the same time. But with one basic step, they are able to do so many things. They are able to achieve so many things with just one basic step. That's why I know that even beyond my teaching right now, there are so many things that I could do. And on a daily basis, I actually challenge myself to unleash the things that are in the inside of me. I've started to write 3 books. Okay, I've finished one, 2 more on the offering. I haven't published that one that I've finished. But mark you, what that tells me is that even beyond writing and teaching, there are so much more that I could actually do. So much more that I could actually do. And it is the same with everyone across board. So potentials are what? Are reserved power. Potentials are untapped strength. Potentials are unused success. Every one of us wants to be successful. Every one of us dares to be successful. And in the inside of us, there are unused successes. Things we are unable to, or we have been unable to draw, things we have been unable to use. I challenge you this hour that you look deep in the inside of you to draw the strength, to draw the successes, to draw the power, to draw the abilities that are in the inside of you that are hidden deep within you. Your potentials are all that you can become and have not yet become. What is that dream in the inside of your heart that you have tended to bury over time. You have looked at the situations and the conditions of life, and you have told yourself this is near impossible for you to achieve. Go back to those dreams. Go back to those things that have challenged you in the time past, because your potential is in those things that you could have become and have not yet become. Your potential is all that you can do, but you have not yet done. That's your potential. You know you can do it. You know with a little training, with a little push, you can achieve much more. That's what your potential is. Go, check that within you, and bring out all the things that are in the inside of you that you haven't achieved yet. Potential is unexpected ability and latent power. Latent power. I'm guided by Miles Monroe's teaching on this. Your latent power, your unexposed ability. There are some who can cook and cook greatly, but nature or culture has told you that it is the role of women to cook. Therefore, you as a man with the ability to cook immensely have hidden those potentials in the inside of you, and you are willing to unleash them. Let me challenge you. KFC was started by a man who knew how to fry chicken different from any other person. He had that potential in the inside of him, and he never brought forth that potential until he was 65 years old. That's why I say there's no retirement date for potential. So you could be 100 years old. As long as you are alive, there is something that you can offer to the world. There's something that you can offer to the world, regardless of how old you think you may be. And by the way, what is the definition of old? For me, the definition of old is the ability or the refusal to do things and resigning yourself to death. That's what old is. I hear people grumble and complain about people who are 70 years old and are doing new things. And people grumble and complain to say, no, this person should have been retired, this person should have been resting. If they retire, what should they be doing? Just waiting for death? Just waiting for death? No. It's the world's mentality that has corrupted our minds, that has told us that once you are 60, 65, then you need to begin resting. Rest from what? What have you achieved? What have you attained that you think it is time to rest for? There is no retirement age as long as you are alive. No retirement age. When the Wright brothers were inventing aeroplanes, and this is true story, their father visited the principal of their school. And the principal of their school, of course, a mission school, and the principal of their school engaged him in a discussion. And during the discussion, the principal said, well, at the rate that inventions were coming out, it won't be long that people will begin to fly in the sky. And guess what the Wright father said? Mr. Wright said, it is impossible that before then, God would have returned and folded up the earth. But little did he know that his children were at his backyard, sitting and daily thinking, contemplating, and inventing a device that will lift people up from the ground to the sky and fly for some time. And of course, over time, the children invented what we now call the aeroplane. Why? Because for their father, he didn't have the potential of inventing an aeroplane, but the children had the ability, they had the potential, they had the power in the inside of them to even think and to create an aeroplane. And by the way, when they created that aeroplane, it was at its elementary state. Today, aeroplanes have advanced from one level to the other. You know why? Because at every stage, there is someone who has deeper potential to do what? To improve that aeroplane to become something better. I've watched an Emirates advert, and oh my, I would love to fly in their first class. It seems like a room, a house in the sky with some sort of bed, some sort of relaxation, oh dear, that is beautiful. And you know why? Because somebody challenged himself deep within and brought forth things that people could not imagine or fathom. The reason why the so-called developing nations further from where we are, we hold on to them and we think that they are the best for us. No. Advancement comes when you improve on everything that you have had over time. And you see, that improvement is a potential that is buried in the inside of you. Kuli kuli is a snack I've always enjoyed. All right? Except you are in this part of the world, you may not even know what kuli kuli is. Okay? But it's a snack made out of groundnut, blended and fried, as it were. Okay? And from it, you could draw oil, groundnut oil, to make other things. Now, over time, because of the way that it's been produced and the way it's been handled, I stopped eating it. But lately, somebody introduced a packet of kuli kuli for me, and I was so tripped. I was so thrilled. And I went back to that old habit to take that snack. Why? Someone had the potential to advance kuli kuli from one level to the next and provided it. Don't hold on to the things you call culture. Some of those things are the things that destroy you and I. So your potential are your hidden power, your hidden ability, your latent strength, your unexposed ability. That is what your potential is. Now, unless you do something beyond what you have done, you will never grow or experience your full potential. Potential is not stagnant except you stagnate it. So, unless you do something you have never done before, unless you go to places you have never gone to before within your spirit, within your heart, unless you challenge yourself to discover and reinvent yourself, you will never use up your fullest potential. Never. Growth comes when we are willing to expose our potentials to new heights. Growth arises when we are willing to do things we've never done before. Many years I was in the civil service of my country, Nigeria. Okay, and at one point I had a director who had an interest in me writing minutes and taking notes for discussions and so on and so forth, because it was a security organization. Okay, and because I got fed up with the style in which certain writings were done, I decided to reinvent the wheel, as it were. And for me, it was a good invention. In fact, when I presented my write-up, a number of people were excited about the newness of my write-up and almost immediately began to adopt my style until at a meeting when we made our presentation, and one of the directors got up and said, well, the civil service has a format and things have been done in particular ways in overtime in certain manner. Who are we to dare to change those things that we came and met? Oh, the day that thing was said, I became extremely discouraged. Extremely discouraged. And that one word of discouragement was about the thing that, among the things that made me leave that organization and look elsewhere. Every organization that stifles the innovation and creativity of its staff will always remain stagnant. No wonder the civil service of Nigeria looks very stagnant over the years. Over the years. Your inability to be creative, or your unwillingness rather to be creative, because every one of us has the ability to be very creative. Your unwillingness to be creative is what destroys your potential. One other enemy that your potential has is your last success. Your last success. There are so many people who think they have achieved so much that they are unwilling to try new things. Success is the enemy of your potential. I applaud you for your last success. I congratulate you for your last success, but let me challenge you. Beyond your last success, you must move on. What you achieved yesterday is in yesterday. Don't be a living history. There are so many people who are living histories, and this is what I mean. They are alive and in the past. They are alive, and yet everything that they have going for them, or supposedly going for them, are things that they achieved yesterday. So they keep talking about yesterday and never look forward. Never. Again, that brings me back to that mentality that we have in Africa. This is our culture and therefore should not be changed. And because we think this is our culture, therefore, the ways that our great grandfathers used to farm are the ways we're still farming right now. No wonder we cannot feed ourselves. Because there was a time that certain implements and equipment were relevant for the society at that time. They could take care of this population at that time. They could feed the population at that time. But time has moved and has advanced that we need new equipment, new implements to be unleashed on the soil to give us the fullest potentials of the soil. And like I said, everything has a potential. Everything, including the ground. Everything has a potential. Therefore, I challenge you today. Never let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. Never let what you've achieved yesterday interfere with what you can achieve tomorrow. Never. You must decide today not to rob the world of all the gifts, of all the abilities, of all the potential that have been packed and compressed in the inside of you. You must dare to challenge the world. You must dare to rise up. You know, there was a time that people believed that the earth was flat, and that if you traveled, or you could travel from one end to the other end of the earth, and that when you travel to the end of the earth, you will fall down, and nobody told us where you will fall down into. Until someone decided that no, the earth wasn't flat, it was spherical. In fact, when he made that proclamation, even the church and all religious organizations kicked against him and even imprisoned him for daring to think that the earth was spherical. This is hundreds of years over. Have we discovered, or have we agreed that the earth is spherical or not? It is. It is. Why? Because he dared to dream. He dared to refuse to hold on to what he thought the earth had thought about certain things. He dared to look different. He dared to challenge the thinking at that time. or what seems to be the popular thinking at that time. Dare to think, dare to challenge. Now, for us to understand what potential is, or for us to practically see and observe what potential is and how much potential can be, I would draw your mind to observe a seed. It may be a bean seed, a mango seed, whatever seed of any fruit that you can think of. Think of that seed. When you hold that seed, what do you think of? Of course, many right now think that it is just a seed. But let me tell you, a seed is beyond a seed. A seed of whatever fruit is a forest of that fruit. A forest of that fruit. Because with that one seed, you could get a tree of that same fruit that you have taken. And in that one tree, you could get thousands of seeds or thousands of fruits from that one tree. And from that one tree, and from that one fruit, you could get thousands of trees from that one seed that you have plucked out of the tree. From that one fruit, you could continue to get thousands upon thousands of fruits in that same one fruit that you have held. From a single mango seed, you could do a mango plantation over time. And in no distant time, that's the truth. Because if you plant a single mango tree, all right, a single mango seed, and it yields a tree, in 3, 4, 5 years, it begins to produce. Only God knows the number of fruits that it will produce. And for every fruit that it produces that has seed, you can plant them again and get multiple fruits from that one seed. That's how powerful potential is. That's how powerful our potentials are. There was a time that building a dome was a problem in the world. A dome. Things that are commonly built right now. Until someone sat and thought deep, made all the necessary calculations, and began to build domes. And right now, domes just seem ordinary, they just seem common. There was a time that traveling across water was a problem until someone sat down and thought and developed ships that now travel for months on the water. Why? Just like the sea. In the inside of that sea were things, were potentials, were abilities of things that no human being could ever fathom or think of. I have a family friend, or some friends in the United States of America. Okay, we lived on the Air Force base with them. We were just next door neighbors. At one point, their father was posted to as a defense attaché or a defense finance clerk in the United States of America. He went with all the children and allowed the children make their choice whether they wanted to return to Nigeria or remain in the United States of America after his posting. Now, a number of them stayed back. At one point on Facebook, I noticed that the eldest son had become an army in the United States, a soldier in the United States Army. And thereafter, after his tour of service, returned back to the country, retired from the military, became a police officer. After that, he retired from the police officer of one state, went to another state, became a police officer. He got tired, he retired from there. He became a bouncer at the club. Right now, he's in the gym training people to learn to develop their bodies and become stronger. Now that is that from one man. From one man, he's done several things all in this lifespan. And there are so many of us out there who are refusing to dig deep, to search within. Even with the lockdown that the world has experienced, there were so many people who were frustrated because, again, if you refuse to unleash your potential, if you refuse to discover the things that are in the inside of you, frustration sets in. Frustration sets in. And you and I know how destructive frustration can be. So think of your potential as a seed. Because in every seed there is a tree. In every tree there are seeds. In every seed there are trees. In every tree there are seeds. And it continues on and on and on and on and on and on and on like that until the earth will end. So life, and let me say this, is beyond what you see out there. Potential is immense. It is beyond our imagination. If you are my contemporary in terms of age, remember when we used to watch James Bond movies and we saw James Bond speak through his watch or use his watch to open doors or use his watch to break cuffs and so on and so forth that were in his hand. You remember when he had a pen that could snap pictures. Okay? You remember when he had a belt that could do certain things that ordinarily will not have been able to be done. There were times like that. Those things seemed far away. But think today, what are the commonest things that you see around? There are pens. There are even mobile phones. Pens. There are cameras. There are buttons that are spy cameras. There are vehicles. Now we have convertibles all over. Okay? So in the morning they have a roof. In the evening, when the person wants to cruise, the roofs are off and you keep wondering. But I saw this guy with a different car earlier on. I saw this lady with a different car earlier on. How come she suddenly changed the vehicle? Potential. Potential. They have dug deep to be able to bring to life what used to look or what used to seem like a near impossibility. Remember, okay, that life and nothing in life is instant. So as I challenge you to unleash your potential, please remember that nothing in this life happens instantaneously. Nothing. Everything happens over time based on processes. On process. Even what we call miracles are just processes that have been sped up, have been made to occur faster, but there is a process to everything. And because every one of us has potential, because every one of us has been blessed, packed full with this potential, let us remember that we can only unleash them as we go through the process. We can only unleash them when we allow the processes to unfold. I will talk more about the processes on Wednesday at 1 p.m. if you dare to join me. I would like to talk about the processes, the things that help us unpack the so much potential that we have in the inside of us. But please note that nothing just happens. Everything goes through a process. And everything that goes through a process begins with a potential. Every potential is aimed at improving the world and improving your life. And you see, this is the interesting thing about potential. For as many potentials that you unleash to the world, so excited will you be to want to even unleash more? I challenge you, dare to come up, dare to dig deep, dare to search the things that are in the inside of you. I would want to draw a stop now. I want to draw the curtain at this point, thanking everyone that has been online with me. I know that there is so much more that you and I can do. I know that buried in the inside of you is a huge world of potential. Please dig deep, discover, and unleash your potentials to the world. The world is waiting for you. Let me thank you for spending time with me. The last 51 minutes or thereabouts have been very interesting for me. In fact, as I speak to you, there are things that run through my mind that are challenging me at the moment. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time with me. Thank you, Theophilus Ocholi, for your comments and for your being patient with me online. And thank you for your encouragement. And to everyone out there, thank you and stay blessed and have a fruitful weekend. See you next week on Wednesday at 1 p.m. as I do some more talk on unleashing your potential. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.